Well, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I would like to welcome you all, extend a warm welcome all across the globe, sitting here in Greece and serving as the Toastmaster of the evening on our club's 9th online meeting. We're close to 10, and this deserves a round of applause. What do you say? Fantastic. So, wondering, what have you all been doing this week? Have you been keeping busy? Have you been joining other Toastmasters meetings, perhaps? Can share a bit for myself. I give a speech at my physical club, which is the Toastmasters Club over at the Hellenic American Union in Athens. It is the oldest English-speaking club in Greece, which is quite a feat to be running a English-speaking club in Greece. And I hadn't given a speech there for a while since I no longer live in Athens. And guess what? Guess what I focused the speech on? Online clubs. I shared my story with you guys. Yes, yes. And not only that, the speech project was from the Specialty Speeches Manual, this one. Are you familiar with it? Have you perhaps done it or seen it or read through it? All right. And the speech was project number 3, to sell a product. And I can tell you, not only did I talk about online clubs to my fellow Toastmasters at my physical club, I managed to sell them on the idea of visiting an online club. And at the end of the speech, I asked for a show of hands. How many of you, show me your hands, are going to be visiting an online club? And they were like, yeah, I like the thought, I like the thought. So that made me very, very happy. I felt that I brought value, I contributed to them. So we might be seeing some of them as guests at the future meeting here. So I was wondering, as a means of introduction, would you like to share your name and perhaps something crazy that you've done this week, something that you enjoyed, something that you would like to share with us? So how about we start with Alicia? Please unmute yourself.
Okay, very good evening to Club President, to Toastmaster of the Day, Panos, and to my fellow Toastmaster and guests. Well, this week is a very hectic week for me. I could say it was crazy week because I was busy settling all the matters pertaining to my new home. I just went down to the Housing Board Development Authority, in short HDB in Singapore, for public housing, to sign the lease and collect the keys for my new flat. So that was a crazy week. And I think there is this, I remember the theme of the day was resolutions, right? Mm-hmm. So my resolution this year, I have plenty of resolutions, is to work in progress things that I didn't finish last year, and also to start my new life in my new place soon. So back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Alicia. Let's continue with Toastmaster Dennis.
All right. Well, it's been a busy week for me too. I have an online club, or well, actually, it's a hybrid club yesterday, and I had to get that all set up and get all my equipment together. But actually, the big thing that's coming up this Sunday is here in District 33 in California, we are getting a special visit from our Toastmasters International president. So the district is having a special TLI, Toastmaster Leadership Institute in Santa Barbara for several hours on Sunday to have our international president with us and also to provide a little bit of training for us. And I've got a 10-minute slot on that program too. So I'm trying to get ready for all of that. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Exciting news. And it's always exciting to hear how much is going on in the Toastmasters world all around the globe. Now, joining us from Chicago, Illinois, RJ. What's new with you, RJ? Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm a member of Toastmasters here in Chicago, a member of several clubs, and I am a full-time teacher at a university here in Chicago. And so we're in the middle of our first week, or near the end of our first week. So it's a big week for a teacher, you know. Suddenly I'm meeting about 150 new students in all my different classes. And it's you know, very hectic week, but it's very fun to get started on another semester. Very excited to visit your online club. I've been visiting several online clubs because I think it's a really interesting thing. I'm actually doing my high performance leadership project within level 5 of Pathways on online clubs. So I'm visiting a lot of clubs and just trying to get a feel for how online clubs work. So thanks for having me.
Welcome, RJ. Then I will pass the ball to our dear friend, Angela. Angela, how are you doing today? What's new with you, Angela? Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you so much. Well, it's wonderful to be here again online. This is one of my achievements of the year. Of course, like you, I tell everybody about it. I have been so busy this week. I've been to 2 clubs a day, every day except yesterday. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I went to 2 clubs. So I've completely lost track of where I was 3 days ago. 2, 4, 6, 7. So this is the 9th club since Monday. And I'm preparing for tomorrow's meeting of the club of which I'm president, Bradle Heights Advanced. And we have a speaker who's going to talk about stagecraft and confidence on stage. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also organizing an area contest for my area. And my club, of course, is in the other area contest, which has changed their date. So I have 50 WhatsApp messages saying, oh, please confirm by tomorrow if you want to do X, Y, or Z. Meanwhile, here I am talking to you. So that's why I want to go to sleep at midnight.
All right, all right. Well, Angela, your commitment to Toastmasters is inspiring. Well, what can I say? Just please make sure that you remember to eat and sleep.
One more thing. I'm also editing my husband's book on wine and writing my own book on English when I've got a moment. So I'm trying not to read the news, but I can't help, you know, I mean, somebody sends you a picture of a dear little koala, you've got to know if it's living or dead and if it's going to be okay.
Thank you, Angela. Now I will ask Toastmaster Thano, all the way from Thailand. How are you doing, Thano?
Thank you, Panos. Your name and my name is similar.
Yes.
So I had a lot of things, very busy this week. And I want to share with you 3 things. The first thing is last night, I went to a play in Chiang Mai. A play, the story is Driving Miss Daisy. And this play, the reason why I went there, it was our member from Chiang Mai Toastmaster was the assistant director. His name is Nat. That's why I went there. And I love it. I love it very much. I think this is my first play that I visit. The second thing, I am so busy about my trees. I am an agriculturalist right now after my retirement, and I have a lot of trees to take care of because now in Thailand it's very dry. So I have to water all my longans. You know longans? Longans is a brown fruit, very sweet with a black seed. If you come to Thailand, to Chiang Mai, you can try. Very sweet. And the last thing I would like to share with you, as just a moment ago, I just ran 7 kilometers. And my target is to run 100 kilometers in 2 months, virtual run. So I can run anywhere in the world and submit using my app, Runkeeper, to the organizer, 100 kilometers until 15th of March. So that's what I did, and I am very happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Pano. Thank you. I have a similar goal to run 7 kilometers in the next two weeks. Then it will be my pleasure to hear from Anikait. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes. Yes, I am Aniket from DTU Toastmasters in India, and this week I had my classes, and I came here as Friday, Saturday, Sunday is a holiday, so I come here to give my speech.
We love listening to speeches, and even more, we like giving them as Toastmasters. Then Assyl from Kazakhstan. How has your week been? Assyl, are you online? All right, let's then quickly move on to the couple that share everything, including Toastmasters together. Hakim and Vivek, how are you guys?
That's we don't share everything.
Why? We don't?
We have our own underwear. Everything else we share. Hi guys, Hakim and Vivek here. It's been a very busy week for me because school has just started for the children. So that means we have to spend a lot of time calibrating schedules from the holiday mode to back to school mode.
Yes.
And that affects everyone in the house.
Yes.
So yeah, we're still trying to get the children used to it, and we're also trying to get used to it.
Yes. Whatever he said, plus I wake up earlier than him. That's it.
By 30 minutes. No, not even 15 minutes.
Yeah. So you have it easier. Don't complain.
Oh, not really. That's all.
Are you guys also sharing the wake up time, or does one of you have the privilege of sleeping in even just a few minutes more?
I give spiritual motivation.
That's what they call it nowadays.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I can see Assyl. Assyl is online. Assyl, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Perfect. Welcome to the meeting, Assyl. How has your week been?
So as I told, I'm from Kazakhstan. It's currently winter and snowing all day. So we have beautiful snow outside. It's fresh. My week was busy. I am full time of being mom, also a member of several online clubs. I don't go to local physical clubs, so this online club is good for me. And I got used to being present on screen. It's a great skill. I'm also a member of Online Presenters Online Club, Witty Birds, and the Fusion Toastmasters Hybrid Club. So I'm helping each club by doing something. So it's a great opportunity to learn from all of Toastmasters. So, and I'm happy that Willie invited me to your club. So I'm grateful to meet all of you, and I know that I'll be enjoying the meeting. Thank you so much. Back to you,
Thank you.
Hannah.
Thank you, Assyl. Thank you. The feeling is mutual, I assure you. And after this round of introduction from the rest of us, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the club president, Willie, who would perhaps like to introduce a bit of himself, and maybe there's also some club business that he would like to bring to our attention. Willie?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Actually, in 3 days' time, the Singapore Online Club is already have 12 meetings. Officially, meeting is only 8 because we started our Toastmaster meeting on the 25th of October, and we charted on 20th of November. Officially, it should be the 2nd month. But we don't care what date Toastmaster International called us the chartered status. We have been through, the club have been through so many things that we never expect an online club. I mean, physical club, we are so experienced already. But online club, most of us are new. Some of us will take 4 to 8 meetings just to get used to the environment. Along the way, the first 4 meetings, we learn our online meeting through one of our club advisor for competitor communicator, Leung, and along the way, we got our 20 charter member Witty for weeks. And next, we try to set our club rules. Actually, not rules, because the reason why I have so-called rules or standard is because we want to grow as a club as we go international. We are attracting a lot of people from all over the world, for Asia to Europe, for Asia Pacific to Europe, to the US, and go Canada. We have a big audience. Every meeting we want to have this such a manner. And so as you ask me, why do I have to book my meeting slot of every Wednesday? Why do I need to confirm on Friday afternoon? Maybe I should share you a slide, and then you will understand where I am coming from. Okay. This slide will tell you that, okay, since we are using Easy Speak, we can book our slot by every week, no deadline, no resource, and up to 1 month. And every Wednesday through Thursday, speaker or appointment holder can update their speaking detail so that we can go and find overseas project evaluator that match the project skill you are speaking. This club is not about project delivery. This club is to help you improve in the skill that you wanted based on the project you are doing, whether it's pathway, whether it is on the advanced menu or the better speaker series or successful club series. We are here to help you. So member or speaker need to update your project objective and menu with while you are book your slot. The objective you can learn how to prepare early, book your time for this club meeting, and it allow the TME to prepare his or her schedule without last minute changes. We have that issue for the past 3 meetings, and along the way I try to fix it, and it's working now. And it help improve speaking skill. Why? Because you need to prepare your speeches in advance. If not, you will not do a proper project speech online. And why every Friday at 12 o'clock we need Singapore time? You need to confirm the slot so that we can inform other evaluator leave, you cannot make it, so that they can attend the next meeting. And the Toastmaster of the day can prepare the introduction early by updating the easy speak through email, where we send you the reminder. At least you can tell us that you are attending a meeting or which day, or you are not being in a meeting. So this is for everyone. So this is a basic secrecy. We hope that when you update, if you are attending a meeting, we can help to assign you roles so that you will not leave the meeting empty-handed. And then we can at least have a proper meeting. I have visited almost every week. I almost visited at least 5 online club meetings, including the Singapore one. The meeting was tremendous or coordinate. I wish that the Singapore online could be like them, could be like them. So I hope that with this standard and procedure, we can help the club. Eventually, once this is taken care, our members are able to. We are all adults. We are here to learn for each other. It will also help you in your physical club as well. It's not only online club, it's on the physical club as well. So in my end of my speech, I will say that plan early so that you will not have last minute changes. If you need to have last minute changes, go inform us that you can make it. So over to you, table topic master. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Willie. The importance of adequate preparation cannot be overstated, since there's a lot of things happening in the background in order for the meeting to run efficiently and to be successful. Now, after this round of introduction, I would like to remind you a few practical issues. Please be mindful to mute your microphone when you are not the one talking. For example, I can see at least 2 microphones that are currently active. So I'm not going to intervene. I'm just going to ask all of you to check. Yes, now both of them are off. Congratulations. Then if you do not wish to be recorded, as a couple of members that are now online with us do not wish to be recorded, so they have turned their cameras off, so feel free to do that at any moment in time. And then, having said that, it is my pleasure, and I urge all of you to put your hands together to welcome the Table Topics Master of the Evening, Toastmaster Dennis Ham.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. See if I could get my screen. Okay, today's table topic is really close to the first of the year, beginning of the year. And I'm also brought a friend because in a few weeks, it is going to be Chinese New Year's, and it is the year of the rat. So I have Ratatouille with me to share the table topics with us. So the table topics today are going to be related to the new year, and also related to any resolutions that you might have made. So that's generally what the topics are going to be about. So I'll get the screen set up so that I can get this, so that you can select the topic. And the timer is on Willie's screen. So if you can look at Willie and screen, if in the gallery view, you'll be able to see the timer. And what I'm going to try tonight is, sometimes we go a little bit long, and if we really get too long, I might ding you. So if they're 2.5 minutes or more, I might do this. And then maybe about every 5 seconds, I'll send you a message if we really get long. I don't think we will during table topics, but just in case. All right, let me get the screen set up to share. All right, whoops. And let's share this one. Okay, can everybody see my screen with the table topics? Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can get this other thing out of my way. Let's see. This bar is in my way. Let's see if I get this down. Need to go to. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the main screen now? Is it looking pretty good? All right. Well, this is our table topics for today. And 2020 has just started and the year of the rat is almost here. And the timing will be for 1 minute. I'm not sure if we'll see green on Willie's screen, but normally we'll see a green at 1 minute, a minute 30, we'll see a yellow, and at 2 minutes, you'll see red. All right, here are the topics. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to highlight people so that you will know that you're going to be speaking. And let me see if this will work. Spotlight video. Okay, is there a spotlight around RJ? Can you see that? Okay, RJ, can you please unmute and select one of the 20 topics? Pick a number between 1 and 20.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to, and I can't select it. Why don't you?
I'll select it for you.
You want to choose one for me? Yes.
You can pick a number and I'll highlight it for you.
Okay, how about 10?
Okay, 10. 10 is, do you have any customs or rituals that you perform at the beginning of the year? Can you see that screen?
I sure can.
Okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start and Willie will start the timer.
Yes, my customs at the beginning of the year are probably very similar to many people. So I like to reevaluate. I tend to do this actually about every quarter. I'm a former accountant, and so I view my life in quarters. January, February, March, bam. April, May, June, bam. And so at the beginning of every quarter, I try to reevaluate where I'm going, what I'm doing in life, and what I could be doing more effectively. And so that is my tradition, not only at the beginning of the year, but at the beginning of the quarter. I also view my life in smaller chunks too, like a month, and I like to kind of review things monthly and make monthly goals as well. This year, my main thing I'm working on is moving from Chicago to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so that's a big task, and I'm in my 50s and trying to get a new job. Pittsburgh, not that easy. So that's where I'm putting most of my energy for this quarter, other than my actual job of teaching. Thank you very much. That's what I do at the beginning of the year. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next victim, let me see. How about, I'm going to try to highlight, how about Assyl? Would you like to be a topic speaker?
Yes, sir.
Okay, pick a number.
7.
7, all right. Okay. Do you not make New Year's resolutions because you know that you'll break them within a week?
That is true.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I usually make promises myself to do something and I break them within a week because I'm so lazy. But then I talk to myself and say you don't just the saying you don't have to do it like consistently, but do it. So I'm pushing, hard myself, especially when it comes to develop and practice some skills. As I'm doing with my English, sometimes I give up, like it's hard. I don't understand some accents, and I can say, I can formulate these thoughts. I'm like that, but then I just remind myself, no, you have this goal, you need to work on that. So every year I don't make any resolutions. Actually, the word resolution was new for me because we don't do that in Kazakhstan, but I think it's a great word because you need to make some goal. You need to make some meaning of doing something. So this is a great word, resolution, and we, especially in Toastmasters, I learned about that, and then we make that resolutions at online clubs or clubs you go physically. So for maybe my new resolution, New Year resolution is take care of my health, going to gym, walk a lot, and what is the timer? I don't see here.
You're right at 2 minutes. You're good.
Okay, so yes, yes, I am easy to break my resolution. So back to you, Mr.
Okay, thank you very much.
Master.
Thank you. All right, let's see. How about Hakim? Would you like to participate today?
I was not on the screen actually. Vivi was on the screen. Maybe you meant Vivi?
I happen to see both of you. I see you're trying to sneak off the screen.
Yeah, she's dead. She's dead center. She's all ready.
Okay. All right, wait.
Table topic 1.
Which one?
1.
One? Okay. 1. What is your Chinese zodiac animal, and does that accurately match your personality, your qualities, personal qualities?
Am I dead?
Yeah.
What is that?
Rabbit.
Am I? Oh, okay. For one, I'm not really in tune with the zodiac signs. But according to my husband, and thank God for him, if that was my internet connection is unstable, can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's not real.
Oh.
Okay. Because I was prompted my internet connection is not stable. Okay. The whole time I thought I was a cow, and I thought it matches me perfectly because of obvious reasons. But only just a few seconds ago, I was reminded by my husband that I am a rabbit. Now I'm confused. I don't know how I fit into that zodiac sign.
There you have, yes.
Oh. I'm already running short of sleep. This is annoying. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, the microphone's actually on Hakim's shoulder. That's why it's
you
not coming very.
can't hear me.
Yeah, there you go.
Which part of
Okay.
it did you not hear? Okay, I shall repeat myself. I don't care about the time anymore. The
Okay.
whole time I thought I was a cow, like the one that goes moo. And I thought that matches me perfectly because of obvious reasons. But only a few seconds ago, my husband told me I'm a rabbit. And now I'm confused. So I might spend this year reflecting on how I match a rabbit. Yeah, that's it. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, let's see. Who else could I pick? Let's see. How about Tanu? Tanu, do you want to be a table topics? Pick a number. Let's see, when we give you the list.
Yes.
Okay. Pick a number.
Number 9.
9, okay. Okay, number 9 is I don't make New Year's resolutions because I can't keep them. It's similar to another one.
Yes, I don't make New Year's resolution because I can't keep them for many years. So I didn't make one this year. And for me, New Year resolution means, I think mean something to me also, but I don't want to make one because I don't wait for a new year to make one. That's my reason. I can make my resolution whenever I want to do something, when I want to be committed to do something. For example, I made my resolution to do the plucking. You may have heard about this word, the plucking. Plucking means you run and you collect the garbage along the road. And it's my new passion to do so, because now we have a lot of plastic waste around the public area, especially everywhere in where I run, you know. I don't want to see that. So I asked my friend who run together, would you like to join me? And everyone want to join me. That's why I start a small group. We make the plucking together once a month only. So it's easy. I just order something to pick the garbage without bending your back, right? Online, I order some to give to everyone in the team, and it works, and we are happy to do so. So instead of running and throw all your energy out without anything just for yourself, but now I am so happy that I can do something for society. The plucking, I mean, plucking actually starts from the Scandinavian country and now spread all over the world among the runners, and I am one of them. And so proud. I don't have to wait for New Year resolution that way, you see. That's why I don't make one. Back to you, our table topic master.
Hey, thank you very much. Good job. Yeah, I think everybody should do something useful like that besides just running around chasing something. Okay, let's see. How about, I'm going to pick Alicia. Pick a number, Alicia.
Number 6.
6, okay. Okay, number 6. Did you find that you ate too much during the holidays, so now you need to exercise more?
Okay. A very good evening to club president, table topic master, Toastmasters, and guests. The topic I pick is, did you find that you ate too much during the holidays, so now you need to exercise more? Yeah, I totally do not agree with the statement. In fact, I was so busy during the holidays, I did not eat enough and drink enough. But I realized that I ate a lot and I drank a lot, not during the holidays. Really contrarian. The reason being that when it comes to holidays, and especially Christmas and Chinese New Year, there are gatherings of relatives and friends. And so, normally I'm part of the host. And the main host will delegate to me to entertain all the guests. I do eat and I do drink, but I will have to talk to these people, entertain them, even was asked to do a few minutes impromptu speech for them because they all heard that I was from Toastmasters. At the end of the day, I remember that Christmas Day itself, I was so hungry during tea break, I had to sit down and have coffee and some biscuits. And I reflected, I had so much food and I didn't get to eat much. So I'm feeling a bit deprived. And I've told myself, I shall eat more. But of course, Chinese New Year is the worst holiday. The food has more calories, pineapple tarts, egg rolls, barbecued pork, beer, gassy drinks. And so I'm also afraid to eat more when Chinese New Year comes. So what I do now is I eat more before it comes. So by the time Chinese New Year comes, I had my fill already. So I'll be entertaining again and eating less. I have started exercising more at the beginning of the year. I mean, also at the end of the year, when I was trying to clear all my running targets. And right at the beginning of the year, I had to run to achieve my New Year resolution race. And now I've stopped for a while because I'm eating more so that I don't overeat during Chinese New Year. So I'm quite a contrarian person. And I feel this works well when it comes to the holiday. So holidays do the opposite so that you have a more balanced life. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Alicia. You're making me hungry. I think we lost the timer. I didn't see the timer for part of the time, so I'm not sure how long the speech was. That's okay. Let me see how much time we've got. Time for about one more. Let's see. How about, okay. Let's see if I can get, I can't highlight her, but let's see if Patricia Leung, would you like to try? She's still muted. Okay, Patricia? Okay. Pick a number between
11.
Yeah. 11. Okay.
Let me, it's pretty soft over here.
Okay. Did you stay up until midnight on New Year's Eve?
Did I stay up till, oh, okay, yes. I don't see the timing.
Let's see. It's on Willie's screen.
Let me go there.
On gallery view, can you, Willie?
No, I don't see, but doesn't matter. I will speak on it.
Okay, you're about 15 seconds now.
Did I stay up until midnight on New Year's Eve? If you're talking about the New Year's Eve that has just passed about a couple of weeks ago, the New Year Eve to 2020, I did not stay up until midnight on New Year's Eve. I stayed right throughout the night. And yes, New Year's is a very big event to a lot of people. And that is the time when we all enjoy, so to speak, spend as much time as possible. We use every hour, every minute, and every second of the day so that we can catch up with friends. We can do so many things just because it's not that we don't do these things, like partying, we're going for dinner, we go to gatherings or meet up with friends just over chit chat. It's just that we don't. It's just that because it's Chinese, because it's New Year's Eve. I'm thinking of Chinese New Year already, you know. So it's like next week. So because it is New Year, we take the opportunity to enjoy ourselves too, because it's a special day and the excitement is always there. Talking about Chinese New Year, I mean, the New Year 2020 has just passed and Chinese New Year is coming next week. And of course, I'm not just going to stay until midnight, but throughout the night, I am still trying to arrange my schedule so that I can have everyone that I want to meet up during that few days, and especially Chinese New Year's Eve. So over back to you, table topic master.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. All right, well, I'm going to conclude table topics, stop sharing my screen, and if we can get the poll set up. Let's see, I think we had RJ, Assyl, Witty, Dano, Alicia, and Patricia. So we'll see if we can get the poll set up for that. I see it looks like it's up. So please, everybody vote. I think everybody was within time. See, half the people have voted. Okay, 8 out of 12. Need 4 more votes. All right, looks like everybody stopped voting. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the polling. And it looks like the winner is RJ. All right, okay, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. That was an exciting session. I learned a lot. And this might be my year because I was born in the year of the rat. So this year might be, yeah, I was born in 1984. So this year might be luckier than other years. Not that previous years have been that bad, but I do hope that, yes, exactly, here comes our little stuffed rat friend along. Yeah, I'm not sure I know exactly what it means, but I want to share with you that the reason I haven't looked that much into it is that once I realized that I am a rat in the Chinese zodiac, it sounded a bit less attractive than other signs like the dragon, you know, perhaps. So I said, well, you know what? Let's leave that for later, you know. So any tips on what us rats can do better in life? I will appreciate receiving those tips after the meeting. So now we will proceed with this part of the meeting that focuses on the prepared speeches. Now, introducing our first speaker from India, Aniket Gupta, I would like first to hear from his evaluator. No, I see some signs. Wait.
It's like break time.
Oh, shall we take a break? All right, then we take a break, we shall. All right, so evaluator. Oh, welcome back online, everyone. After our break, we will now proceed with the prepared speeches segment of the meeting. Our first prepared speech will come from Toastmaster Aniket Gupta, joining us from India tonight, and Aniket's evaluator will be Vivek. Let's all welcome Vivek, who will be telling us Aniket's objectives for his speech. Welcome, Vivek.
Hello, Aniket. For your project today, you will need to present a proposal or aspects of it that was developed to improve an area of a speaker's life. Your time is 5 to 7 minutes.
So with no further ado, let's all welcome Aniket.
Thousands have lived without love, but none without water. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Aniket from DT Toastmasters in New Delhi. I'm going to present a proposal on implementing rainwater harvesting. According to a recent report, about more than 20 cities of India and many cities of the world will face acute water shortage by the end of 2020, and they will be almost impossible to continue their water supply without external help. This situation will increase. Uh, uh, sorry. Uh, this situation will increase year by year, and one day we may be left without water. Already, many cities of the world, like Cape Town, Mumbai, and Shimla, are facing acute water shortage, and they are almost unable to continue their water supply uh, without the use of external water tankers, etc. So today I will present a proposal to implement rainwater harvesting, which we can all do easily. So basically, rainwater harvesting is a simple method in which mm, we can collect the rainwater for future usage. The rainwater harvesting the water can be collected on rooftop, or or can be used to recharge the bore wells or the hand wells. Uh, uh, it can be it can be implemented easily in apartments, uh, or markets or homes or even slums. Um, so uh, most of the time people collect water at their rooftops and use that water to recharge the ground. So uh, there are many benefits of rainwater harvesting. For example, it helps in improving the quality of groundwater, as well as it helps in reducing the problem of flooding. It also helps uh, in to cater the growing demand of water. According to many researchers, the rainwater harvesting is a very good solution to solve the water problem across the world. So also we may get discounts in on water bills from the government, and we may get subsidies also. Uh, so there will be some cost to implement the rainwater harvesting. However, this cost will be covered. For example, if you have to spend about 7,500 rupees or about 200 dollars, and the rest is paid by the government in the form of subsidies. So suppose suppose you have to rely on private water supply, and 20,000 liter cost about $10. So in about 1 year, the entire cost will be covered, and you will after that you will enjoy uninterrupted and free water supply. Uh, so the best way to set up rainwater harvesting is to take the help of some company that set up rainwater harvesting. However, still some of the steps include um, setting up of so for some of the steps that the agent will take include uh, to calculate the legislation, land type, soil quality, as well as the amount of rainfall, and the government schemes. And finally, he will implement the rainwater harvesting after getting the funds. Uh, there are many benefits of rainwater harvesting. After that, you will enjoy uh, uninterrupted water supply, and the problem of flooding will also be reduced. some of the examples where the success of rainwater harvesting is placed include like in Rahija Society in Mumbai in India. They after implementing the rainwater harvesting, they were able to save about 45,000 rupees annually in their water bills. Also, in a city in India, Mysore, there was a bank named Karnataka Bank, and they had a huge problem of flooding. So after implementing the rainwater harvesting, the problem of flooding was ended, and now the bank again has many customers, and now it also makes profit. So I would so at last I would like to tell that everyone should uh, implement rainwater harvesting, even if you live in other countries. If your rainfall is good, then you should try to implement the rainwater harvesting in your areas, and also encourage others to take. If you live in an institution, or you can ask the company to implement it. I would like to advise that everyone should implement it and encourage others also to do so. Thank you, and back to the TMOT.
Thank you, Annika, for your speech, and particularly for highlighting the reality at another part of the world when it comes to water, which I believe I speak for most of us, where we happen to live by happenstance, is something that we take for granted. So it is important, and it has inspired me. You have inspired me to feel more grateful for the setting that I just happen to be living in. So thank you for bringing our attention to that tonight, Annika. Moving on to the second prepared speech tonight, I would like to ask the evaluator for the second speech, which is Toastmaster Assyl, to give us a short introduction on the speech objectives for Hakim. Is Assyl online?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Hakim? Yes, online. I'm keeping the video because the internet is slow when I'm turning it on. Okay, Hakim is working on Communicating on Television #2, the talk show project. Appear as a guest on a simulated television talk show. Handle questions that are asked during the television interview program, and present a positive image on the television camera. His speech title is Your Best Child. Your Best Child, Hakim.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the TV show that has no name.
Your Best Child.
This is that's the title.
That's the name of the TV show.
Okay. Welcome to Your Best Child. And for a parent who has more than one child, good luck trying to choose which one is your best child. We have today a very important, esteemed speaker who declared himself to be, declared himself not to be only the best teacher in his field. Are you a teacher? Yes, you are. He is also the best parent in this house.
Please do this seriously.
You gave me very little time to prepare.
No, seriously.
Welcome, Hakim. Would you like to introduce yourself to the rest of us?
Hi, once again, my name is Hakim, and you may not know, but I'm actually, my job is to work with children, and I've done that for the last 10 years. The biggest one is sitting just opposite me right here. And today I'm happy to be on this TV show to share with you a little bit about my experiences.
Okay, Hakim. So you have been spending 10 years doing the job that you do. What job is that?
I work with children in schools and with different types of children, mainly focusing on bringing out the best in every child.
Wow, bringing out the best in every child. When you mention the best, what do you determine best? What is
Tell your
best?
child is doing well in school, that's the question.
Yeah, okay, I'll get to that question later on. How do you determine what's the best in a child?
It really depends on the child.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Now the question that you've been waiting for, the question that we all have been waiting for, how do you determine, how do you tell that the child is doing the best in school? Is that it?
It's doing well in school.
How do you determine that the child is doing well in school? This is a very important question, especially now in the beginning of the year, because we all are preparing, we all are supporting our children, some of them even in the beginning of their school journey, primary school, for example, myself. So this question is also very relevant to me. So I would like to know, how do you identify if your child is coping well in school, and given that the changes in the school system are very drastic from when I was a child, how do you tell?
Okay, basically children are multifaceted, so they are actually seen across various domains. Some are more obvious than others. One of the biggest domains that we see more obviously is, of course, the physical domain. How does the child appear physically? Now, we also must look at the child from other equally important domains, such as the social domain, the emotional domain, as well as the cognitive domain. So in this program today, I'll try and cover as many points as possible in these 4 domains, and hopefully that will share with our listeners how to tell whether your child is doing well in school. It is a rough gauge. It's not exactly the answer to it all, because at the end of the day, you must recognize that all children are different, and children grow and change as well. So for the physical domain, actually, it's pretty obvious, but it can also be not obvious. You have to look at your child's, firstly, grooming. Lots of children show whether they are doing well in school by showing it through their dressing and how they carry themselves when they go to school. So if they're doing well in school, usually you'll see them dress up very nicely. They will be very eager to put on their school uniforms. They will be very eager to bring their school bags and prepare their items. So on the other side, if children are not so happy in school, they may take a long time with their uniforms, or they may not even want to put it on because they feel that school is something that they do not enjoy. Other things also include things like their posture and their physical appearance as they head off to school. So sometimes you might see children being very excited to go to school. And usually we see that, especially in the first few days. But sometimes we might notice that begin to change as the days go by. And that may be an indication that something has happened and that you should engage your child. So there are a lot of physical factors that you can look at. Also, in the longer run, you may see whether your child is growing and gaining weight. So that will indicate whether the child is actually eating well in school. And sometimes we may overlook it because we don't see our children eating in school during their school hours. But eating well in school indicates a lot of other things. That means they are independent, they are confident to purchase their own food, as well as they are able to make friends, because more often than not, children eat with other children. Yeah, so all these physical factors actually help you gauge or give you a rough idea of whether your child does well in school.
I'd like to challenge that point that you mentioned a bit. There are cases where I see children who come to school dressed not very prim and proper. They might be dressed very untidily, but they are very excited to see their friends. And on the contrary, I do see children who are all dressed, their ironed out creases all seen, but they drag their feet to school. So you mentioned just now this appearance plays a big role in determining the physical part of it. So how do you then discern the difference in this?
So actually, the point of discerning here, listeners, is that when the child leaves the home, so for example, if the child leaves the home in clothes that are not washed, for example, or maybe even unironed. Now, for a young child, this is not what we would typically expect them to do for themselves. So we expect them to count on their parents or their caretakers for this. And actually, this is also one of the physical indicators that school use to tell about the home background. Yeah. So if a child comes to school excited, but the clothes are unironed or unkept or untidy, then the school sort of has an idea that perhaps maybe at home the child is not too well taken care of. But in your second example, for example, a child is well groomed. The parents have provided everything they could in the physical domain, means good clean clothes, everything is ready, but the child drags their feet to school. Now that becomes an indicator to an adult. It could be to the parent or to the school as well that there's something going on in school instead. Or maybe even the process of going from home to school, perhaps the child is having some kind of anxiety separating from their parents and things like that. So these are again physical indicators that demonstrate how well the child is doing in school. And going to school itself is definitely part of performing in school.
Wow, so you brought out a very important element. In fact, the partner of schools are the family, the children, and the success of a child determines whether these two parties work hand in hand together. Okay, great. Now you mentioned there are 4 facets, and we've been talking a lot about physical. And actually, if we were to think about it, we can actually go very deep with this physical element just alone, but we have a limited time only. So let's move on to the most important part for Singaporeans, the educational element of it. How do you determine? Is it 8 minutes really so fast? How do you determine that your child is doing very well in the Singapore education system right now? Like, I remember the things that I learned in secondary school are now being taught in primary 1, some even in K2. How do you support these things?
So for actually for the academic domain, or rather the cognitive domain, now this is one of the things that you can actually, is something that's not so tangible. So you can't really see that as much as, for example, the physical domain. So good indicators are, of course, to look through the child's work samples or work performance through the written work that the child produces in his school books. And a lot of the cognitive domain will be seen by the teachers as well. So communication with the teachers when you have a suitable avenue. We always encourage regular communication with the teachers. And in Singapore, actually, there's a lot of opportunities for you to speak to your child's teacher as well. And well, one of the best ways to uncover something that you can't really see is actually to ask your child itself, him or herself, how is she doing? How does she find the material? Compare it with the material that he or she did in school the previous year. Does he or she find it too difficult, easy? Is it sufficiently challenging for her or him to grow? So that is in the academic domain. I would put that the academic domain is perhaps not so important. And again, this might come off,
bang,
among our listeners, it might come off as like a major blow. But I would say that there are other very important aspects of a child's development when we talk about children in school, such as the child's social domain. Because we know school is very much a social place, and we want the child to do well in school socially. That means the child is able to have and maintain friendships, make a couple of friends and maintain friendships, do activities in school with other children that they enjoy, be able to interact with peers both at their age, younger and older, so the child shows maturity and development in terms of their social domain. So for these kind of things, you could ask very simple questions like, who do you hang out in school? Who do you eat with during recess? Name your 5 best friends? And children, they are very excited to share with you stories. So do listen out for certain characters or certain names that they mention, and usually they will tell you about their best friends right up early, and then you will get to know about that's a good indicator that their child is actually doing well socially in school.
Right, thank you. Well, it's very heartwarming to listen to these things and assuring as well, because parents have to lead by examples, right? So I shall announce to everybody, this parent here is a member of 5 WhatsApp groups for just one child. I have 3 children. So by the end of their schooling years, I'll be a member of 15 WhatsApp groups. So socially, I don't think the children will have a problem, because I show them how to make friends with their parents, and I know my favorite parents already. Hopefully, they will synchronize with me and choose the same child. Oh God!
So you have a good point there, because actually now, yeah, we are kind of wrapping up. You have a good point there, because actually now we have the benefit of a lot of social media and a lot of automation that we can tap on. So there's a lot of touch points and a lot of opportunities for parents to actually find out more about how their children are doing in school. And the key here is not to, come to the school and find out everything at one go, but just find out little bits of information every day or every few days, as unintrusively as possible, because we also want the children to have space to grow and to make mistakes and to learn from their own mistakes, but good small touch points that are as unintrusive as possible. Now, this gives very good indicator to parents with regards to how their children are doing in school.
Wow, amazing sharing. Thank you so much, Mr. Hakim. And that marks the end of our talk for today, because tomorrow is a school day for many of us. Back to you, Sitan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you particularly for highlighting the fact that in order to understand how well a child is doing, we have to be very observant, to make keen observations, even at the slightest details. And this doesn't just stop with our intention, it requires skill, a skill that I believe you as parents are building constantly. So thank you. And now it's time to move on to the third prepared speech. And the third prepared speech tonight will be given by Toastmaster Mina. Now, before I give the floor to Mina, I would like to hear from her evaluator, Alicia, Toastmaster Alicia, who I kindly request to return them to me so I can introduce the speaker with her title. Let's try to do it this way this time. Okay, Alicia, please introduce the speech project, and then I can introduce the speaker. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Anos. Well, our speaker tonight, Toastmaster Minashi, will be speaking from the advanced level, speaking to inform project 4, fact-finding report, and timing range from 5 minutes to 7 minutes. The project objective is for the speaker to deliver a report on a situation, event, or problem of interest to the audience. Delivers sufficient information. Just give me a minute. Deliver sufficient factual information so the audience can base valid conclusions or a sound decision on the report. Good luck to you, Toastmaster Minashi, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Alicia, for your input. I would like to add at this point that in Mina's project, there will be a 3-minute Q&A session in the end. So please jot down your questions if you have any. You will have some time to ask Mina in the end. So let's all put our hands together and welcome Toastmaster Mina. Facts and figures, Mina.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. President, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I'm here to deliver my 4th speech in the Speaking to Inform series, which includes facts and figures with Q&A of 3 minutes. With no further ado, let me go into the first thing about my speech. What do you know if I ask you what is grab? If this question was asked 10 years ago, I would say grab is something to grab a key, grab something on the floor, or grab food. But today, the word has made an immense difference, especially in the Southeast Asia, especially from the place where I live, Singapore. Grab today is a famous ride-hailing app or ride-hailing platform. It is being the #1 for the past few years, and it has acquired a lot of other small and big ride-hailing companies in the Southeast Asia. To give you more information about Grab, I let you know that I grabbed all these information from the internet, especially from the Wikipedia and some of the annual reports from Grab. Grab was initially started in Malaysia. How did the founder start this company is a very interesting fact. The founder of this company is Mr. Anthony. He started this idea. It's a startup with really huge money at the startup for a startup level, and it is also has the pride of being the first startup company with over $10 billion. Having said that, let me come back to the story, how Grab was started. Anthony once was sitting in his office doing his regular work, had a visitor, his friend, coming all the way from some other place to KL, Malaysia, to Anthony's office. When he arrived, Anthony asked, "Why are you late?" He said he started complaining about the taxi. He started complaining about the charge that the taxi driver got from him. He was worried. Anthony's friend was worried. From this, Anthony realized that there is a really big gap in hailing taxis. Although at that time Uber was available, but Uber did not have taxis. So Anthony decided to propose this idea to his university. Actually, he was doing a doctorate at that time, and he provided this idea to his university. He proposed this idea. Initially, everybody disagreed and said that it could not work. Finally, he took this idea to a lot of taxi companies, saying that, okay, here is an idea that you can implement, or you can propose, you can accept, we will implement for you. It's just an app. And he explained what all features that he's going to add on. Most of the companies rejected. Finally, the 5th company that he went to agreed, but for a short number of taxis, that is 30 taxis at the first place. After seeing the immense response from the audience and the users, the Grab taxis improved a lot. Initially, it was called My Taxi, and now it's become Grab because it's including other services as well. For your information, Grab includes Grab Car, Grab Taxi, Grab Car Plus, Grab Family. These are in transport, Grab Hitch and Grab Shuttle. Most of you know what these things are, but the most important and most attractive part is the Grab Hitch, where the partners are not a regular drivers. They are just commuters like us. This is a carpooling system which is really helpful. For example, even I took Grab Hitch for nearly a year when I was pregnant. I took this Grab Hitch service from my home to office every day. It was so convenient and it was so cheap compared to the normal taxi. Having said that, the other Grab services that the Grab have improved on is the Grab Food, which I am amazed to see because for having so many food courts in Singapore just at your doorstep, why do somebody really need a food service? But to my surprise, Grab had made it possible and had made it popular as well. Now there is what not in Grab. You can order a papaya, you can order Indian food, bento set, or you can even go for a full-fledged Chinese meal. So Grab has done it for the first time in Southeast Asia. For a company as a startup to grow this level is really a huge step. From this, what I learned is every big company is starting from a single seed of idea. To give you more inputs on the facts and figures about the Grab's revenue and popularity, it has nearly in 2000. This reading is taken in 2017. For every 8 seconds there is a booking. But now it has increased immensely, and I don't have the figure today, but I'm expecting the report for 2019 coming soon. Having said that, you would be surprised to see that there is nearly 66 concurrent rides that Grab has successfully done in the year of 2017, and total of 1 billion rides. They have covered nearly 68 million downloads for the Grab app and 3.5 million rides daily. So these numbers are really huge and really a big step for a startup. Later, the Grab introduced more policies to make it a user-friendly and also a popular app that could stay forever. So what they did, for the first change they did, is they moved from KL to Singapore. Why? Because Singapore is a hub for the Southeast Asia. It's a very popular place, and it's also popular for visitors and tourists. So they decided that Singapore could be a better headquarters. Also, they signed up some contract with the Singapore government and it was the right time when Uber was about to leave Singapore. So they acquired a lot of cars and drivers from Uber, and they became really popular. Also, they all implemented other things like adding penalty for late arrival for the riders to satisfy the drivers as well. So these are the steps that any startup could think of and improve their services. With that, back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your speech, Meena. We now have 3 minutes, so I kindly ask Dennis, our timer, to time a 3-minute questions and answer session, starting from now. Yes, Angela, you were the first to raise your hand. Please unmute yourself.
Can you tell me how easy it was to get funding at the beginning, and who will fund this sort of idea?
As far as Grab is concerned, this idea was proposed in his university, and the university was the first corporate thing to fund this idea. University was the first one to fund this idea, but the initial funding was very little. They only provided $25,000 USD for this idea to be implemented. But later he was able to raise funds from other sources as well.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to a second question from Toastmaster Hiran. Hiran, please unmute yourself.
A very interesting and a relevant topic, Toastmaster Meena. My question is that, where on from now? So what does now Grab want to do going forward? So taxi startup is a successful business, but what more and what beyond, if you can share a bite or two on that. Thank you.
Okay, so having seen their progress in the past years, they have initially started with transport, now moved on to food, but they also have delivery services, like you send a parcel from your doorstep to your friend's door without you being the traveler. The parcel can go on a car on its own with the driver. So this is one interesting service they did in the past. So see all this in future, I think they will move on to more other kind of fields where the delivery or the transport could help. There's one more thing they're concentrating on. For now, they are only in kind of 160 countries, so cities. So I think they will be improving on that. Added to it, I think for India and other places, the taxi is a thing difficult to hire for more people. So I think they will concentrate more on the bike hiring, which they already implement in Indonesia. So these are the things in line for Grab in the future years.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any more questions? Because the time is approaching that we're gonna have to wrap up. Okay, I have a very, very quick question for you, Mina.
Yes.
Do you think it was a better business decision for them to spread out their, instead of focusing on one type of rental, to spread out, or would it have been better if they had focused perhaps on one type of vehicle, maybe just the bicycles? You have a feeling for that?
Yeah, I think, and it is a good idea that they moved on to other types of vehicle, because car is a very good thing when you have a proper road system and proper traffic rules. But for the cities and countries and villages where there is not much of a traffic rule and not very popular with the taxi and car services, it is good that they are moving to this bicycle or the bike kind of a thing. Bicycle, although there is a lot of competition for the bicycle, bikes, I think it's a very good idea because there's someone who is able to help you right to the place. So you need not know driving. So it's a good idea by them.
Thank you for all your answers, and you made me think that business decisions are always multifactorial. There's lots of moving parts there, so better to think things through before coming to a business decision. Let's all thank the speaker for her speech.
Thank you.
And I admit that you get me excited with how thorough you were in your research, and I'm guilty as charged for driving your speech time over time. So yeah, you can blame me for that. You can blame my interest for that.
That's okay.
Now moving on to the fourth speaker, Toastmaster Panos. I would like to ask Panos Evaluator, Patricia Lam, to tell us a bit about the speech objectives before I introduce you to the speaker.
Right, good evening everyone. There are 3 objectives: to understand the elements of interpretive reading, to learn how to emphasize a narrative and plan for effective interpretation, and to learn and apply vocal techniques that will aid in the effectiveness of the reading. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Toastmaster Patricia. The next speaker is Toastmaster Panos, yours truly. And I will take a minute. I want first to give you a short introduction, because what I'm aiming for with this speech is to reproduce a feeling, the feeling of seeking atonement or redemption, coming from the main character of The Tempest, which is one of William Shakespeare's works. So to give you a bit of a background that will set the stage for this speech, The Tempest is a play by William Shakespeare that was written sometime in the 1600s. The play is set at an island, and in the first scene, the protagonist, Prospero, arrives at the island in a boat that his brother had put him in for him to die, together with his daughter, Miranda. Now Prospero is the rightful Duke of Milan. That is why his brother wanted to get rid of him, in a way. Then Prospero and Miranda, his daughter, survived, and they were exiled on this small island. The way Prospero dealt with it is that he learned sorcery from books, and he used that to protect his daughter and himself on the island and to control other elements in their lives. Now, at the fifth and final act of the play, Prospero, who is now a sorcerer, wants to make amends with the audience for using witchcraft, sorcery, and he has decided to renounce the use of magic. So in a way, he is regretful. And now we shall focus at the epilogue of the play, which is a final monologue from Prospero at the fifth act, in which he asks the audience to free him after he has given up his magic and he has forgiven all those that have injured him, including his brother. The sign of Prospero's regained freedom will be the audience's applause, and therefore he will be allowed to leave the desert island. Here is the speech. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have is my own. Which is most faint? Now it's true. I must be here, confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the deceiver. Dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you, Toastmaster Panos, for this speech from William Shakespeare. And now, moving on to the fifth speaker for tonight, I can see in the agenda, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because the agenda has been refreshing in the background. Our next evaluator will be Peter Enge. Is this correct, or am I wrong?
Peter Eng.
Okay, so Peter Eng will be evaluating Toastmaster Hiren's speech. So help me welcome Peter Eng, Toastmaster Peter, as the next evaluator.
Hang on, I think somebody took over my role, right?
Now you have been moved to evaluate another role because of the timing issue, Peter.
Ah, okay, so the speaker is about to speak right now, is it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Toastmaster of the day, I wasn't told which speaker am I supposed to evaluate, so I did not know, I did not expect.
Persuasive speaker. Check your WhatsApp message, speaker.
Okay.
The last message.
The last message, huh? That was after I came in, is that?
Yes.
All right, I tell you what, while Peter is looking into his notes, it is my pleasure to quickly step into the meeting and introduce quickly Hiren's objectives. Now, Hiren will be speaking from the Persuasive Speaking Advanced Manual, doing project number 5, the Persuasive Leader. It is a 6 to 8 minute speech. His purpose is to communicate a vision and mission to an audience, convince the audience to work towards achieving the vision and mission as stated. So, fellow Toastmasters, help me welcome Toastmaster Hiren. Are you a daydreamer or an achiever? Are you a daydreamer or an achiever? Toastmaster Hiren.
Thank you, Toastmaster Panos. Just give me one moment while I set things up. Just 1 minute. All right, let me know if you are able to see my screen. Yeah, okay. Let me just set things up to get to the timers window so I don't mess up like last time. Yes, I can see the timer as well. All right. All right, so let's me begin. What I want you all to do is just close your eyes and just look at, maybe 5 seconds to think about one big thing that you want to achieve, as a part of one big thing that you always wanted. Either it could be, say owning a condo, or earning an HDB, probably getting a good job. It could be anything and anything for everyone. So it could be, probably a vacation, for few. So it would be anything that you would like to do. So think of something that would be of good fancy to you. Now, what generally happens is, we try and think, and this is from our childhood that we start thinking. So Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, my topic for today, and just give me a minute because my topic for today is all about are you a daydreamer or an achiever? And I would like to begin my conversation, and let me know, just 1 minute again, I am not able to share the slides. Apologies for the technical snag, but are you able to see my PowerPoint slide by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, is it a full show or is it with the notes? Because I am getting
no notes.
No notes. All right. Okay. So apologies for this technical side, but I just wanted to get through this. But we all have, we've all been talking about vision and mission. And let me take this moment to just explain what a vision and mission is. So vision is all about what you want to achieve. So what you all just would be thinking in terms of either owning a condo or an HDB, or getting lots of money, getting a good job, having a good vacation. Now mission is how do you go about doing that? Or so these are your small goals that you have to achieve that bigger vision. Now that is the basic definition. So if you were to relate back to say for example Toastmasters, so everyone would like to be an international speaker like Vivek is out here, or get that accolades, or earn that respect and be good, or even be a paid speaker. Now that becomes the vision. So what is your mission? So what have you done now to achieve that vision? So you want to be into international Toastmaster circuit, you want to speak, you want to be paid and be speaking. So what is it that you do now to achieve that? Now, through this speech, what I want to do is to tell you about my story. It is a little embarrassing, but I will be honest about it. So just enjoy my story. So let me begin. And again, I am struggling to move my slides. Yes. So let me begin by a simple task which I always procrastinate and do. So it is all about ironing. So what generally happens is that I have the weekdays where I have to iron, and I push it for the weekend, saying weekdays too much work la, who will go and do it? How about weekend? Come Saturday, I start my work, and in the morning it is all about having that copy in the food center. Then by afternoon, having that nice ramen which is waiting for me on the Saturday, and I push it to the evening. So the ironing doesn't happen, and by the time I pick up the iron, my friend calls and say that how about going for an Iron Man movie? Now the dilemma is that between the ironing of the shirt and the Iron Man movie, the shirt gets left out and I go for the Iron Man movie. The Saturday passes. Similarly, come Sunday, I wake up late. It is then getting to the breakfast time again. Have a couple of beers, watch Korean drama. Evening is Netflix, and the weekend is over. And so what happens is that the shirt piles up. While I can see some of you are laughing, but this is my dilemma of not achieving. And a very embarrassing story of this is what happened was that one of my aunt was visiting a few months ago, and she came to the house, and you know how aunts are. So she was my mom's friend. So she came in and she sniffed something, and she remarked saying that, is there a dead rat in the house? And I was so embarrassed. It was not the dead rat, but it was the pile of clothes that was left for the laundry. So again, small little things that we don't do, we try and procrastinate. We all want to be big speakers, but then we don't achieve small little things. So this goes on and on all the time. And let me give you another example of tips while we were studying. So I think all of you would have faced this. We all went to school. We started the year with saying that I want to achieve that grades, get flashing colors, and move in. And then before exam time, we cramp up. We start with the alarm which rings in. We said, okay, let me wake up at 1 o'clock. That 1 o'clock becomes 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock becomes 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock I wake up and I open my books. I relate exactly to that to my speeches as well. When I start writing a speech, I have 1 week or 2 weeks, and I wake up a day before just to see how I'm going to plan the speech and what am I going to do differently. Now this goes on, and whatever I have a vision for myself doesn't get achieved because my mission that I have isn't clear, because I'm procrastinating, I'm being lazy at doing things. So it's not only study. Another embarrassing story which my friend faced was that he went to an exam hall and realized that he knew nothing about the paper. He actually asked the examiner that is he in the right place? I mean, so much so is the bad planning that we do. So to end my conversation, what I would like everyone to take away from that or be inspired is that let's plan in advance. And Toastmaster, I mean, if we take a common objective of being good speaker, how much are we preparing? What roles are we taking? How we are planning ahead? Am I just speaking all the time, or am I supporting the Toastmasters with evaluation, be taking part in the contest, taking club roles, district roles? Because all of that will help us to build the overall vision of being a good speaker. So a good speaker is not about just going on the stage and talking. It's all about taking up roles, taking up planning in advance, doing that small bit day in, day out, and really growing and really enriching this beautiful organization, Toastmaster, that has given us. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Hiran, for your speech. You brought something of value to our attention, that it's one thing to be a good speaker, but it is another thing to be a well-rounded communicator. And going through all these roles, ensure that you become both the first, but also the second. And we have Toastmasters to thank for this. Now we're gonna move to the sixth speaker of the evening, which will be our guest, RJ. And RJ will be evaluated by Toastmaster Aaron. So before I introduce the speaker, I would like to hear from Toastmaster Aaron about the speech objectives.
Okay, thank you very much, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, it's my pleasure to be listening to a CC8 project. What that mean by CC8? It means that really get comfortable with visual aids. So I'll be expecting a lot of visual aids, expecting clarity, and also making sure that those aids really enhance the speaker in his speech. So looking forward to achieving that objective. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aaron. Our next speaker, the sixth speaker for tonight's evening, is Toastmaster Ranjit with one way to conduct a speech evaluation. One way to conduct a speech evaluation, Toastmaster RJ.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm going to show you how I conduct my speech evaluations. And this technique is a combination and an extension of techniques I've learned from a few people, including a couple of my Toastmasters mentors, Tim Wilson and Bill Russell, plus a former world champion of public speaking, Pres Vasilev, in a keynote address that I saw him do. So I took all these techniques and I've kind of extended them into the way I conduct speech evaluations. Everybody, if you would like me to send you a copy of my notes from this speech, as well as the posters that I'm going to be showing you, please send me your email address. And I'm going to put right now into the chat window an explanation of how you can do that. So give me a moment here. So go ahead and get in touch with me if you would like a copy of my notes as well as my visuals. So my technique involves using a blank sheet of paper, okay? So I take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then I draw lines on it that look like this. If you can't see that too well, I divide my paper into 3 sections. I draw first a horizontal line about 3/4 down the page all the way across, and then I draw a vertical line from the top down to that horizontal line. So we have this section, and then this section. I put headings on the top 2 sections here. This heading is a plus, and this heading is an OFI. So plus means positive things about the speech. Okay, so that's the section where you're going to sit and as the speaker is speaking, you're going to jot down positive notes about the speech. OFI stands for opportunities for improvement. So in that section, you are going to jot down any opportunities you see for improvement. This bottom section is where you are going to jot down any notes about the speech's overall positive impact on you. That's how you're going to close your evaluation speech. Instead of closing the speech by giving a summary of everything you've already said, I like to close my evaluation speech by offering how the speech positively impacted me. So now let's get to what you're actually going to do during the speech, because all of this stuff, you've made this before the speech begins. So now you're sitting watching the speech that you are going to evaluate. And then here's what you do. As you're watching this speech, you write down your notes, positives, opportunities for improvement in this sheet. Okay. Now, if I gave some examples from a hypothetical speech. So I wrote here for positive, I wrote opening joke, okay, about screwdrivers, right? This is just made up from the hypothetical speech. And then I wrote an arrow and said humor. We'll get to why that's important later. I wrote here, whispered about the butterfly, vocal variety. Someone whispered about the butterfly in their speech, and I liked that because it was vocal variety. Okay, so here's the kind of pattern to the way I'm taking notes. I'm jotting down a specific thing that I liked, and then I'm kind of putting it into a general category. This is important because later on in the meeting, when I'm going to give my speech evaluation, what I'm going to say is, I liked your use of humor. For example, your opening joke about screwdrivers really hit. So I'm going to give a general thing that I liked and then give the example. But when I'm taking the notes, they don't occur to me in that order. The specific thing hits me first. That's why I write it. And then the generality follows. But in the evaluation speech, I'm going to do it the other way. Humor, that's why I drew an arrow there. I liked your use of humor. For example, the opening joke. So that's how I'm going to put all my notes. Now, when it comes time to actually formulate your speech, you're not necessarily going to say all the things you have on the plus side and all the OFIs, opportunities for improvement. What I do is, in order to keep the tone of my evaluation speech positive, I follow a formula, which is the number of pluses I'm going to comment on has to be greater than or equal to the number of opportunities for improvement. So for example, I might choose 2 pluses and 1 opportunity for improvement for my evaluation speech, or maybe 2 and 2, but I'm never gonna go 1 and 3, okay? Because I wanna keep the overall tenor of my evaluation positive. And then finally, I'm gonna close with a note in my speech, my evaluation speech, about the positive impact of the speech on me. As I have told you, I'd be happy to send you a copy of this. I apologize, I know it's not super visible to you in this way, but I'll send you a copy of that as well as my speech notes and how I do this if you include your info to me in one of the ways that I've recommended. Thank you all. It has been a pleasure sharing with you the way I conduct my speech evaluations. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Let's all thank RJ for sharing from his experience. There is one thing among many that is absolutely undeniably, irrefutably true within Toastmasters. You can always find a way to do what you're doing even better. So I'll be using some of those tips, and I have already registered my email in the chat box to get the form and get to practice it either here or in my physical club. Thank you for listening to RJ. We have formally concluded the part of the meeting with the prepared speeches, and now I would like to hear from our timer, Dennis. How did the speakers do time-wise? And if there were some that were, yes, please go ahead.
Everyone did okay. I did not get the timing for the presentation for, yeah, I see Willie has a timeout. What's up, Willie?
One more speaker.
Okay. One more speaker.
Okay. Okay, so we will have an educational session, which tonight we shall group together with the prepared speeches. The prepare for the educational session to be slightly longer time-wise because of its nature, It will be between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on the content that Angela will be laying out for us tonight. The educational tonight, delivered by Toastmaster Angela, comes from the Successful Club series. It is the second project in the Successful Club series, and it's focused on finding new members for our club. So finding new members for our club. Help me welcome Toastmaster Angela for the educational session, the workshop. Angela, please unmute.
I am unmuted. It says I'm muted by the host. Hello. Everybody hear me? Excellent. I'm going to tell you about how to find new members for your club. Your first question is going to be, why do I need new members? I'm doing okay. Or, oh dear, it's such a challenge. How can I possibly do this? First of all, let's look at why anybody would need new members and why they would think they don't need new members. One of the reasons why you need new members is because however many members you've got, some members are going to leave. Ralph Smedley, who founded Toastmasters, said, "Let us share the benefits we've gained for ourselves with others." So anytime when you're not gaining new members, you're depriving people out there of the opportunity to enjoy what you've got. Why wouldn't you want to share? Now, I've met people in clubs who've actually gone up to new members and said to them, I don't want you to join and then not come along to meetings. And I think this is absolutely weird, because every person you meet could enjoy the benefits of belonging to Toastmasters. And what you want to do is encourage them. I'll now move on to the next slide so that you can see it. Where do you find these new members? All over the place. You can talk to friends, relatives, co-workers, taxi drivers, people you meet in the lift. Friends, relatives, and co-workers are the best ones because they trust you, they know you, and you'll have a chance to reinforce your message if you are interrupted. You can wear your Toastmasters membership pin every day. Mine has fallen off because it's the magnets come apart, but I'm sure it can be replaced. Display the Toastmasters magazine. Now, I would suggest that at your club you have a welcome desk by the door and put the Toastmasters magazine there. Some people, what they do is they don't just display it, they hand a copy to every person who walks into the meeting, and inside the Toastmasters magazine, guess what they find? It's a membership application form. Then you can distribute promotional brochures and flyers. Where to? The obvious place is around the building where you are, because then people don't have to travel to get to you. Then you can conduct speechcraft workshops, and you can create an account on a social networking website. You've probably got one on Facebook already. You can add events, and you can go onto Eventbrite, and you can also go on to Meetup. Next slide, please. Where's slide 3? Here we are. Treating guests properly. I've heard people say that they went to a meeting and nobody spoke to them, and I've had this experience. There are other places you go to and they immediately greet you at the door. At one of my clubs in England, I was the meet and greeter, and I would meet people at the door Ask them how they spelt their name and write it out on a badge and give it to them. This had many advantages. It enables anyone who comes up to them to ask about their name, and it enables the person who is conducting the table topics or impromptu speech session to call the person up by name. Instead of saying you at the back, yes, you, or the lady in red, they would be able to say Anna or Peter or Junie or whoever the name is, please come up. Then sit with the guests during the meeting. Very often the guests sit on their own. They sit at a table with nobody next to them. They can sit next to one of your members if possible. Then speak to the guests, invite them to speak during the meeting to introduce themselves at the beginning, possibly do a table topic, and then to give feedback at the end when you ask the magic question, are you likely to want to join us as a member? And would you like to come and visit us again? The important thing is to make them feel welcome. And I'd also mention members you haven't seen. If they haven't come along, send them an email. Are you okay? Wondered if you'd forgotten about our meeting. Just remember it's on such and such a date. The next one is on such and such a date. Now, I was invited to a meeting and I didn't go. And when I saw the lady later, she said, come to another meeting. And I eventually confessed to her, well, it's a bit far for me and I find it difficult finding my way from the MRT station. And she said, I will meet you at an MRT station. Now that's a wonderful offer. Asking guests to visit again. You can have a chat group where you put all visitors in it and tell everybody when the next meeting is occurring, or you could just meet for coffee and chat about the meeting with them. And that's an opportunity to tell them, answer any questions they have. They might not want to ask how much is it. I prefer to have the prices displayed because often you don't ask because you're afraid it will be too much. And it might even be cheaper than they were afraid it would be. Compared with something like Anthony Robbins and lots of conferences, Toastmasters might seem a bargain to some people if you consider what you're getting for it. Keep the club's membership efforts personal, helpful, and friendly. You want to find out what the person is looking for. Are they interested in networking? Then the idea that they can go to other clubs all over the world might be of interest to them. If they're interested in making friends, then they might want to join the committee, because a committee is a way of always having an excuse to contact someone. Oh, I'm just ringing you to find out if you've got the program. Oh, I'm just ringing you to tell you I've got the information. It is absolutely wonderful being on a committee. It cements the friendships. Let's move on to the next slide. Now this is very interesting. A guest never forgets a host who had treated him kindly. It's just amazing that this was said by Homer, Greek Homer, years and years and years ago. This is something that has applied in every country, in every era, wherever you go. Someone who treats you well, you remember them. And especially when you go back and they come up and say, oh, lovely to see you again, and smile at you and shake hands or hug you. And what if you can't shake hands? What if your hands are all wet from something? Well, then the solution is you do a namaste and a bow. Because somebody who was religious said to me, his religion didn't allow him to shake hands. And I said, there are two solutions. You can carry a tray and offer somebody a glass of water, or you can do a namaste. And so long as you're bowing and smiling, the person feels they're being greeted. So remember what Homer said, a guest never forgets. That's a double negative. I would prefer to say a guest always remembers the person who has treated them kindly. Now, you may be asking, why do we need new members? I touched on this at the beginning. However successful your club is, some members are going to leave, and it doesn't matter whether it's Toastmasters or a tennis club or any club anywhere in the world. People move on, they literally move house, have children, and have reasons why they can't come back. So you need to continually recruit people. And the more people you've got, the more fun the meetings are, because you have new ideas, new enthusiasm, and you don't get the burnout of one person doing everything and being exhausted. You've got more people, more enthusiasm. There are reasons for joining a small club. There are some people who join a small club because they think they've got more chance of winning a contest or being the president. But having done that and joined a small club, then they have a reputation and they can make their small club into a big club if they follow the system. If you want to know more and you're already a member of Toastmaster, you can get the slides on finding new members for your club, which is in the series, Finding New Members for Your Club. Thank you. Any questions?
Please raise your hand if you have any questions for Angela before me, because I happen to have a couple of questions that I will prioritize questions from you to begin with. Okay, Hiren.
Yeah, hi Angela. My question is around finding new members. So what strategies do you adopt for increasingly competitive, spaces like Singapore, where there are a lot of clubs, and we could hear the presentation last week in terms of so much densely populated clubs. So what are those differentiations that you bring in to get new members? Because, behind one member, there'll be 3 clubs already eyeing to get him or her into the club.
One of the things to look at is where the people are, because if you work in one place and live in another, you might want to join 2 clubs if you want to progress quicker through the system. Why would you want to progress quicker through the system? Maybe to get a promotion, maybe to network and make more friends, maybe you've got more time on your hands because you're a student or you're retired or you think this is a good time. And I don't see clubs being in competition. I'm a member of 3 clubs currently in Singapore and about to join another one. I was a member of 2 in England, and one of the clubs was constantly calling me, and the one that I've stopped going to has just written to me, and when are you coming back to visit us? It makes all the difference that you keep in touch with people. And you will lose a few, but you're equally, when they move into your area, they're going to come and join you if you're already their friend. Thank you. Next question.
Do we have another question? Do we have another question, or shall I proceed with my question?
Yes,
Okay.
the timer is up to 13 minutes, but I think Willie will allow questions.
We have up to 15, so
Good.
I'd like to take advantage
Go
of
ahead,
that.
then.
Angela, I would like to ask you from your experience, what would you suggest a VP of membership or any club member for that matter do to handle hesitation? Now, hesitation is this middle ground. It's a bit of a nervous feeling. It's not directly phrased as an objection, but it's rather being rather ambiguous. Shall I join? Shall I not join? Am I good enough for that? There's many sides to feeling hesitant to join Toastmasters. So I frequently encounter people that feel hesitant, and I wonder how you would recommend me to deal with their hesitation. Thank you, Angela.
One way is to be super friendly invite them out for a coffee. If the first hesitation is not going to a meeting at all. I thought I was odd, and it was peculiar of me that I didn't go to my first Toastmasters meeting for about 3 months because I was afraid of taking the journey, wasn't sure where it was. I finally went when my friend who introduced me drove me there in his car and literally took me there. And there are other people who are afraid to start. And the trick is to find them a mentor and say, would you like me as your mentor, or would you like such and such a person? The other thing I've seen done is to get them to fill out the form and say, fill out the form. Then if you ever decide that you want to join, for example, you might want to join because you want to enter a contest, or you might want to come along to a party, or you might come along to several meetings and feel that, well, you've eaten their food for 3 or 4 weeks and really you owe them something. There are hundreds of reasons. So look for, you could even ask them, why are you hesitating? What is it you were looking for when you came here? Can we help you with it? And that might be the answer.
All right, Angela, I have many more questions for you, but I'm happy to connect right after the meeting because you clearly have a lot of knowledge about motivating people, particularly within the Toastmasters setting. Now, Angela's speech is over formally with this question. Thank you, we're right on time. Let's all thank Angela for her input on finding new members for our club. And yes, can you see the poll for voting? The poll has already been set up for voting for the best speaker, tonight's best speaker. Together with that, please start voting, because as soon as we can close off this window, we can hear a bit of info from our timer on how we did time-wise, which is always good to know. Okay, 70% of people have voted, 80% of people have voted. We're close to 100, so make it count. Come on. 76%. Something happened with the voting because it returned to 0%. Ouch. Willie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Something happened with the voting?
The first speaker is supposed to Anika, replaced by Paravi. If you have to vote, it will be Anika.
Okay, yeah. Instead of Pallavi, there is a mistype there. Instead of Pallavi, we had Anikite, Toastmaster Anikite from India. So there is a mistake there. So please vote again for Anikite, Hakim, Mina, Panos, Hiren, RJ, or Angela. Yes, and not sure how it looks on your screen, Willie, but I do not register any participation right now in the voting. Yeah, Willie? Yes.
There are no poll. Oh yes, polling screen is up.
If you can see the poll screen, raise your hand. Can you see the poll screen on your screens? Okay. Can you vote? No. So Willie, our club members have not voted. There seems to be some technical issue there. We can either Now it seems to be working. 71%, 78. All right, 78%. 3 more people. If you're hearing this and you're online, exercise your democratic right to cast a vote. This is the time. Your Toastmasters Club is asking for you to fulfill your duties as a Toastmaster. All right. My action when it comes to voting at least seems to have been less effective. Oh, 85%. Well, it worked. All right, fantastic. I believe with 85%, 92%. Okay, I believe with 92% we can safely close the vote and trust the results. And Willie, could you please show us the screen with the voting? Yes, and let's all congratulate Toastmaster Hakim for being voted as tonight's best speaker. Best speaker, best parent. We all hope best of both. Congratulations. So fellow Toastmasters, it's time for a quick break. Could we perhaps try to keep our break to 5 minutes so that we can proceed with the evaluations? Is that okay with you? All right, 5-minute break. It's 1:45. Let's meet again 10:02. All right. Welcome back, fellow Toastmasters, after a quick break following the end of the prepared speeches section of our meeting. And now we shall proceed to the part where we get to listen to the speech evaluations. Now help me welcome the first evaluator, Toastmaster Vivek, who will be evaluating the speech from Toastmaster Anikai. Help me welcome Vivek.
Hello, everybody. All right. Today, we've had the pleasure of listening to Anika sharing with us a very serious matter at the start of the year about the shortage of water. You know that 70% of the world is made up of water, so and 70% of our lives also, right? Our body, 70% of our body is also made up of water. So this speech is very important and relevant for all of us. Not having enough water, and he has talked about specifically about rainwater harvesting. He started off by sharing the relevance of it and why it is important for all of us, and he made it personal because he shared stories that are from his hometown, his place, experiencing directly the effects of water shortage from the agricultural water shortage, and how harvesting of water has helped the farmers regain crops, right? Is that what I get right? Yeah, regain all those crops, and they are able to carry on with their lives again. He also mentioned about how it is helpful with the in the long run, how this investment, though it costly at the beginning, it is cost efficient in the long run. So that is also very important. And having this topic being presented in such a beneficial way to all of us, given that this topic is a proposal to the rest of the world, the way he presented it is very well done. He also took time to add research, have evidence-based points where he shared success stories for all of us to reference from. So this is not something that is only a personal account of his, but he shared research done by other people, by organizations, that shows the benefits of rainwater harvesting. Now, the only thing that I would hope for was to have this research more diverse. If I caught correctly, the researchers, the stories that he shared are mainly from his side of the country, of the world. there are rainwater harvesting success stories that happen on other sides of the world, and having that being presented as well would be adding more value and more credibility to his points. For example, your evaluator here comes from a country that believes strongly in rainwater harvesting. So mention countries like Singapore as well, just to give a little bit more diversity to his research. The other thing that I would love for him to do is we are on the topic of rainwater harvesting. If you notice, the whole time when he was presenting it as though he is coming with the rain. The way his camera was angled is that he's talking to us from top down. So I don't know whether it is purposefully done or whether he wanted that effect that he is coming together with the rain, and the rain is telling him to tell the people of the world on earth to do more rainwater harvesting, but a little more angle from face-to-face angle, like what I'm doing right now, would help better in persuading the people to be moved to follow your proposal. Because if you were to speak face-to-face like this, you will get to be more relatable to the audience as compared to top-down. So just a little point there, be more careful of how you position your camera, because considering that you're doing a presentation now online, this angling would really help with making your speech more relatable to all of us. All in all, I really love this very relatable topic, and I hope you move on with better angling. That's it. But back to you. Yay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek, for your thorough evaluation. It is my pleasure to introduce the second evaluator evaluating Hakim's speech, Toastmaster Assyl. Put your hands together for Toastmaster Assyl.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Panos. I really loved the cheerful welcoming of interviewer Vivek of the Your Best Child talk show, and I like your humor and facial expression. Well done, Vivek. Then Hakim introduced himself and answered questions. When you watch a real talk show, you might notice that interviews look at the interviewer and talk to them most of the time. In this case, Hakim did nothing wrong. He didn't have to look straight at the camera all the time. He seemed comfortable with answering questions, and he knew his points when he talked about emotional, social, and academic domains, and sometimes, uniforms, why children might be happy or they're not happy to go to school, and he used gestures to indicate them. He used natural voice, and he spoke the way he would talk to friends and neighbors or acquaintances or colleagues. Pacing of his talk was clear enough to follow, but sometimes I lost Hakim, but it was because of the internet issue I have been having here. I love that he kept a mildly pleasant expression at all times. He waited until the question was finished to begin his answer. So, Hakim, you really did a great job. What can you do differently next time? Your body language will say a lot about you, so mind your posture. Lean forward slightly and show your energy and confidence when you share your experience. Modulate your voice to when making key points. When you look at the camera, show that you are really talking not only to the interviewer, also to the audience. Other than that, Hakim, you definitely met the objectives of the project. You handled questions well and presented a positive image television camera. Great job and congratulations on being the best speaker of the meeting. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your input. I can say, wow, wow, wow. Can you feel the love, Assyl, there in Kazakhstan? We saw a lot of appreciation coming from Hakim. This is incredible what is happening here, being able to connect, to bridge all those distances and evaluate each other. It is my pleasure to introduce the third evaluator tonight, evaluating Toastmaster Mina's speech. Help me welcome Toastmaster Alicia.
Hi. Thank you, Toastmaster. A very good evening to Club President
and members, and especially to Toastmaster Minashi on delivering a very good speech. I would like to evaluate her in two areas. The first area is what I can learn from Minashi, and the second area is what we can all learn together from Minashi's speech, which were a bit lackluster. Let's move on to the first area. I've learned a lot of things from Minashi, basically two major areas. The first area she did well was she met the project objectives, which were to present a report on an interesting topic to the audience. And GRAB is certainly a very good topic. Everybody, I can surely and confidently say, has used one of GRAB services. Anybody here has not used GRAB service at all? Looks like everybody has used it. Okay, only one person, right? Doesn't matter. Okay. The second thing that she did extremely well was that with all the facts presented, first thing she did well was all the facts presented made a delicious food. She fed us with so much facts and figures about GRAB that we now know that GRAB is an innovative company with many services that disrupt the economy and even disrupt their competitors. Now, the other thing that she did even better than this was that she put in humor in her opening introduction. She grabbed us with some interesting bits, like she said, I grabbed all those information. So there's a pun to it. And she also got the audience attention by telling her own story as a pregnant person, how she used GRAB services and benefited from it. Now, so all this humor and own story made the dish even more delicious. Particularly her own story, facts tell, story sell, and Minashi, you definitely did it well. So the other area okay, I'm so sorry. I muted myself. Okay, the other area that we can all learn better from Minashi's lackluster speech, parts of the speech that were lackluster, was because you narrated to us many facts and figures. And in order for the audience to better remember what you spoke, it would be better that you had some creative use of visual aids. You told us so many facts and figures, but we can't visualize. And for the tone, for your mini dialogues, you could adjust your pitch and tone and voice. And when you said big steps, please use more emotion. Finally, in the conclusion, you could have told us about future trend of Grab, where you could say Grab could possibly be moving into driverless transport, such as drones and electric cars, which will not need drivers anymore. So this would cement in the audience mind that Grab is the company to look for. And with all this, you did very well. Give us a lot of facts and figures, but just adjust your delivery in terms of vocal, visuals, and with a strong conclusion, we can do it. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alicia. I was wondering if there was going to be a food reference in your evaluation, and there was one, so you did not disappoint. Food is very important. Now, moving on to the evaluation of the fourth speaker, Toastmaster Panos. Put your hands together for welcoming the fourth evaluator, Toastmaster Patricia.
Good evening, Panos. Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you for such a wonderful, interesting, and emotional speech from The Tempest by William Shakespeare. You are very cool, calm, and collected, and you appear really confident on the screen. I like it that you prepare your audience mentally and emotionally by giving us an introduction to the speaker and why he was giving that speech. Well done on this. On presentation, you did a great job when placing your script at a place where you just need to just glance at it. You were not holding the script, so you were not totally reading from it. And this allowed you to make eye contact with your audience, and this helped to engage our imagination. I like it also that you were able to use hand gesture and making the speech more real. And because you spoke with a crystal clear and clear voice and clear pronunciation, you communicated the emotion of the author and again engaged us further into the story. I felt your eye contact were smooth, and your voice was also smooth because you were very familiar with the speech. You may wish to consider 2 points actually, cutting short on the introduction and spending more time for a longer story. It appears that you took longer for the story introduction while the story itself took, I think, less than 2 minutes. Also, you would want to consider adding more effect for your vocal variety, because the objective of this project is to communicate a story through your reading voice. Your goal is to interest the audience with your story, that your story isn't even aware of you, meaning that they are not aware that you are reading, but are only aware of the emotion of the story. So the voice here is very, very important. In conclusion, I totally love the way you came across narrating the story with your powerful knowledge of the character. Do consider more effective vocal variety to bring out the emotion essence of the speech. And I thought the rest were wonderfully done. Thank you for such a wonderful speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Patricia. I have to tell you that you, I'll be a bit personal. This thing about vocal variety, I do not mind hearing it over and over again because this is my bottleneck number one. So thank you for pinpointing a general truth about me and encouraging me to keep working on it. It will pay off, I am sure. So thank you for this.
Thank you.
Now we shall proceed with the fifth evaluator, which is Toastmaster Peter, evaluating Hiren's speech. Peter, are you online? Peter.
Coming,
all right.
Coming.
Oh, we have contact. Houston, we have contact. All right. Peter, please put your hands together to welcome Peter evaluating Hiren's speech.
Okay, Toastmaster Hiren, attempting the project, the persuasive speaking, project number 5, advanced project. And I believe it's meant for the persuasive leader. Now, the speech title is From Daydreamer to Achiever. And since I've learned something new today, I'd like to use the positive, the opportunity for improvement and how to balance it and to clear the season. Okay, what I like about your presentation, Toastmaster Hiren, was the great use of graphics, the visual aids. You use approximately 7 slides to portray from the image of a daydreamer all the way to achiever finally as a good speaker on stage. Now, you also mentioned you use a good number of slides, 7 slides altogether in a good 8-minute speech. You space them out, that's good. Now the opportunity for improvement is, even if I miss a point, I will not go about explaining why things are not working, you know. It's like a narrative that tells people more about things that doesn't work. And you should always test your slides before you kickstart your commencement of your speech, rather than testing it and checking with your audience after you commence on the speech. That will definitely add more confidence in the whole overall presentation that you're delivering. Now that's 2 to 2. I'm trying to balance it up. And drama. You look like a person who could deliver or could dramatize your speech. You mentioned your aunt coming in and smell something like a rat. Yeah, a little bit of drama using your body gesture, your head, hand. I hope I don't sound racist by saying that I love it when I see Indians move their head. You know, it's so dramatic. So that's about 3 to 3. To wrap it up, I think overall you did great. Just choose a backdrop that is clearer in color. You see, a Toastmasters international logo backdrop is great, it's good. However, the logo, red, blue, is designed to capture the attention on Toastmasters International itself. If you have a clearer backdrop, then the focus will be on you. For example, I have a very messy backdrop. And if I compare my backdrop to Pano's backdrop or Patricia Lum's backdrop, you know, their backdrop will give special focus to the speaker himself or herself. So overall, I must say, you have met most of the objective for persuasive speaking. You delivered your speech with clarity. And thank you for sharing with us your dream about being a daydreamer that is achieving the role of a speaker. Thank you. Kieran?
Thank you for your evaluation, Peter. I could see in gallery view, I could see all the faces, and all the faces had this characteristic focus, you know, the focus look, you know, when there's no other thought running through our mind. Yes, you have achieved that. So thank you. Now, the last evaluation, when it comes to prepared speeches, tonight comes from Toastmaster Aaron. Let's quickly check if Aaron is online, though. Do we have Aaron online? I take that to be a negative. Yeah. So I tell you what, let's give Willie a couple of minutes to contact Aaron so that we get to listen to his evaluation of RJ's speech. RJ, thank you for your patience while waiting for your evaluation. And let's move on to providing some feedback on the educational speech. Now, for the educational speech, since it has not been assigned by design, it has not been assigned an individual speech evaluator, we will do what is called in Toastmasters a round-robin evaluation.
Aaron is in.
Aaron is in. Aaron, all right. Well then, all right. I shall retract my improvised steps and welcome Aaron, who will indeed be giving his evaluation in the predetermined order. Help me welcome Aaron, evaluating RJ's speech.
Thank you very much, though. Life is just like a mystery whereby you have to prepare for the most finest occasions. Look at RJ. Look at that visual aid that he has a board. He just utilized a board out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that. That visual aid actually fulfills that objective of really letting us see what he is going to talk about evaluation about. So for me, I just do something different. I just put a thumb, you know, the kind of thumb, you can see some letters on there. Oh, it's a bit blurry. My camera needs to be fixed. So there's a tick sign and then my tick cross sign, because that actually just fits the right time, because I just gave my evaluation workshop for the division yesterday. But it was like a very nice recap. Look at what we can learn from RJ. We can learn from the positive things, the tick sign, and also the points for improvement. We look at, wow, he turns the words into very nice phrases, opportunities for improvement. Look at the difference of using the right words. So in this objective itself, I can see that he has actually did a really good job in really preparing that effective 2A. And then he can see us the list of items and itineraries, because he compares one empty board and one with a nice board with different letters on there. So it illustrates the difference of what happens before and what happens after that. So that is a nice guide. So in conclusion for that part is really good in terms of the overall speeches itself. Now, obviously, I'm going to do it a different way, because you said 1 point for improvements and it's not that good if you put 3 negative points. But since you're at CC8, I'm going to challenge even more. First thing first, in this objective itself, we require 2 visual aids. So I only see 1 type, which is the board. So I would definitely love to see another one, which is that you can do a demonstration and also letting us see how the evaluation board really works instead of just giving us a fixed answer. To make it even better, I would have prepared one simple board with all the answers covered up. And then I reveal each answers one at a time. That way you can actually let us feel that, oh, the first point that I may be doing well is that I might start off with a joke. So that might be a good point that I would like to evaluate on that. And the second point, like, look at my second point, composure. You have to be very stable. So those are composure. Now you talk about 2 points and then 2 points of improvement, and then you just need to highlight that. That will actually exemplify your visual aid to the next level, because the visual aid is not your spotlight. The visual aid is just to enhance and impact you. Now, if I really want to challenge one more thing, is that you notice that during your preparation itself, you were typing something because like, oh, can I, if you want me to give you the notes, please send me an email. You spend at least 5 seconds to 7 seconds on that. So that will also say that preparation is also the key. So I would definitely suggest that before you even begin the speech itself, think about, visualize how you're going to present that speech. I will prepare myself, like when I want to give my speech itself, I will just type the message, the copy message, and then put it on the chat box. Right time, right timing, people would not feel that it's a waste of time. In conclusion, overall great speech, yeah, fulfill the objectives. Good round of applause. Back to you. 30 seconds. Yay.
Thank you, Aaron, for sharing from your experience. I was quick to take notes. I'm glad there will be a video because I didn't get to write everything down, because from your experience you shared so much input that I believe concerns all of us, especially the part about do not put your visual aid in the spotlight, but your message should be in the spotlight. That resonated with me deeply. Then for the educational part, for Angela's workshop, I invite all of you to contribute to the evaluation. Now within Toastmasters, this is called a round robin evaluation, which means that we all get to share an observation or a recommendation that we have for Angela's workshop tonight, finding new members for your club. So I would like to go first, and since I have the permission from the Toastmaster of the evening, I shall. Angela, I enjoyed your educational and I benefited from it. Thank you. Especially because you approached the membership issue that all clubs face at one point or another from many angles. The one thing that I would be interested in hearing more about would be your direct experience from this type of situations. So if you perhaps were to do a similar educational again, or if you could tie this experience, your experience in with future educationals, I'm very interested in hearing personal stories when it comes to membership building from the clubs that you are engaged in, either physical or online, and how this could tie in with the best practices you shared with us tonight. So thank you, Angela. Please raise your hand if you could contribute, if you would like to contribute more points, observations, or recommendations for Angela's educational speech tonight. Do I have any volunteers? Wow, yes, Willie.
Angela, your speech, actually before the session, you should ask the Toastmaster of the day to say that your speech was 10 minutes and 5 minutes was question and answer. And for that, he will be controlling the meeting for you. And instead of asking, she still got a few more minutes, because this will disrupt, it will have some distraction to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie. Now we can have one more evaluation point in this round robin evaluation for Angela, who would care to provide more observations or recommendation for Angela. I remind you, this is part of your Toastmasters promise. The Toastmaster shall not withhold feedback from a speaker, or at least this is my rendering of this part of the promise. Yes, Peter with both hands. Peter, please unmute yourself.
All right, I guess just unmute myself. Angela, where are you, Angela? Right, I think tonight we had a lot of visuals that's being presented, like the earlier evaluation has spoken, or if you have at least more example from personal stories, the personal encounters with members, that will relate to the audience a lot better, in my personal opinion. Yeah, and I just readjusted my background just to give you more focus on my space and my speech to you, because I always wonder what is hiding behind those cloth that you are covering. You know, that's always in the back of my mind. That's a distraction, constant distraction for my mind. That's all.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. We could also imagine something hiding behind your white sheet there in the background. So, are you hiding something from us?
Yes, yes. All the lighting and cameras and whatnot, equipment. Yeah.
Aha! Or that's what you want us to think. Thank you for your input, Toastmaster Peter. And once again, thank you, Angela, for taking the time to prepare the educational for us and deliver it. It's a long speech and we all benefited from it. And now you can see the vote for Best Evaluator has popped up on your screens. Hopefully, who can see the voting poll? Raise your hand. Can you see the voting poll? All right. So then please start voting. Yeah, I hope there is a lot of clicking going on in the background. Can't hear any, but I hope it's taking place and that the votes are being collected, because this will bring us closer to the end of this fun meeting and to the report from our accounter tonight, RJ. He's been a speaker, an accounter, and all this as a guest, all the way from North America. Wow, Chicago, Illinois. How are we doing with the voting? Yes, we have ooh. Well, look at that. Can you all see the results? Yeah, can you see the results? So it appears that we have a tie between Peter, Assyl, and Aaron. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun to congratulate one Toastmaster on his or her success, and it's even more fun to congratulate 3 fellow Toastmasters on their success. So congratulations to Peter, Assyl, and Aaron. Incredible evaluations. This all goes to show that there is a lot of value coming from all of us here in the club. Now, I would like to hear from our accounter, Toastmaster RJ. Are you ready to give us the accounter's report, RJ? Then the floor is yours.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I've typed up a little report, so give me a moment to paste it in here. It's not letting me paste it. I'll try to paste it in a moment before the meeting ends. Okay, so I kept a pretty detailed track of people's filler words and phrases, and if you want your individual records of that, please PM me or respond in the chat somehow, and I will put those into a chat to you. I wanted to focus my report on a few generalities that I've observed in this meeting, which I think can hopefully benefit everyone. First is the idea of run-on sentences. Some of you may know what a run-on sentence is. Run-on sentence is when you keep talking, you don't really end one sentence and beginning the next. You kind of just keep going on and you keep talking and no one can really tell where a sentence is ending and another sentence is beginning. So that is something I noticed quite a few times during our meeting. You can prevent that by speaking and ending a sentence, pausing, and then starting a new sentence. Another thing I noticed had to do with talking speed. I noticed in general that people who talk very fast are tending to use a lot of filler words and phrases, whereas the people whose records are kind of clean and do not use many filler words or phrases tend to speak more slowly and intentionally pause between thoughts. Those pauses between thoughts not only help you avoid filler words and phrases, but they also help the audience process what you're saying. So again, the general things I wanted to mention here were run-on sentences, speed, and pausing. In terms of your individual records, please reach out to me in the chat if you want me to tell you what your specific statistics were on different pauses. I took notes on everyone, but the speakers and evaluators, I did more detail. So those were kind of my focus. Thank you. That concludes my grammarian or encounter report. I will keep trying to paste it in here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, RJ, for this innovative way of doing the accounting. And I'm pretty sure after seeing your speech about the way you do evaluations that you have a system for it. Maybe you have a form, maybe you draw some lines and you do it in a very efficient and effective way. Yes, well, I was right. Yes, yes. Nothing is random with Toastmaster RJ. I can tell you that. We've all witnessed that tonight. On this point, I would like to thank you for being online tonight here in our Toastmasters group, where I had the pleasure and opportunity of doing my first Toastmaster of the evening role in an online environment. And it's been a lot of fun. I learned, enjoyed, and 3.5 hours passed. And it's 3.5 hours, which means that we have arrived at this point near the end of our meeting in 3.5 hours, half an hour less than last time. So we're making progress, keeping things tighter. Many thanks to all of you. And on this point, I would like to give control of the meeting to the club president, Toastmaster Willie. Help me welcome the club president.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the morning. Okay, before I close the meeting, I would like the guests for other Toastmaster Club to give me feedback. Toastmaster Ranjit, give us your feedback on the meeting procedure. How different it was compared to other online clubs that you are?
the main difference is it was by far the longest meeting that I've been to. The first one with 2 intermissions, but I truly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the spirit of everyone. It's very fun. It's kind of like a party. It feels like a party where we're just hanging out, but we're also getting better at what we're doing. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. So thank you for letting me visit today.
Okay, thank you, Ranjit. Can I have Toastmaster Anika for DTU Toastmaster Club? Give us your feedback.
I like the meeting, and I thank Willie for giving me opportunity to speak. I liked it.
Okay, thank you, Anika. Can I have Toastmaster SSAS? How do you pronounce the beautiful woman for Kazakhstan?
Assyl.
Assyl. Yeah. Give us your feedback. She's not on. Alisa, are you still there? Okay, let me go to another Toastmaster first. Toastmaster Tanu.
Yes.
Give us your feedback as you have entered the second meeting this week.
This is my second time. Yeah, second time for joining Singapore online. And I think this time is better than last time in terms of time controlling. Yes. And also the content of the speech, and you know, we learn a lot from this meeting. That is good. And yeah, what can I say? That's why I'm still here up till now. Thank you.
Okay. Toastmaster Witty. Our Toastmaster Witty. Your feedback.
Good afternoon, Witty. Good afternoon, Witty.
You go come online often. How do you view the meeting today?
I love how Panos is doing the Toastmaster of the evening, keeping everything on track and in time and lively. It's very hard to, yes, I really love it. Very hard to stay upbeat at this time of the day, and really one of the nice meetings that I've attended. Thank you so much, Panos. Good job, man. I'm early. Awesome.
Hakim, your feedback of being the speaker today, your experience, your experience as a speaker tonight.
I think for this manual speaking on television, this is the most natural environment to speak on the online platform. It's very much like television. So I guess the experience was very authentic. Yeah.
Okay, so I book your slot every week. Okay, Pano, Toastmaster of the day, give us your feedback as a Toastmaster of the day, not a speaker.
Well, right now, I feel the urge to share with you that I looked at the clock only a couple of minutes ago, that I realized the meeting was coming to a close. And when I realized that 3.5 hours had passed, I was like, wow, I must have been having fun. Otherwise, I can't explain. So once again, thank you so much for the good company, excellent Toastmasters input, and fascinating speeches tonight. And I don't want to wait that long until the next meeting. Thankfully, there's one more next week.
Yes,
back to you.
Next week. I enjoy your feedback. Her volume have been gone. Cannot unmute her. I cannot unmute her.
Can I unmute her now, bro?
Cannot.
You heard you. She's trying to unmute now.
Hello.
Okay.
I'll start again. I thought Panos was absolutely brilliant as a Toastmaster of the day. He was smiling and jolly. He made amusing comments. He linked the whole thing together and he made it all fun. I found it very helpful the way you organized the slides for me, because it's very hard to operate slides, especially when you're online, and to talk at the same time. So I thought that was extremely helpful. And as I said earlier in the chat, when it comes to voting, especially when you're voting for strangers, it would be most useful to have just one word summarizing what the topic was of their table topic or their speech. Then you could make your decision much faster if you could remember, oh, the person talked about the rain or motivation. You could say, oh yes, that's the one I want. And then we wouldn't all be sitting waiting while people were humming and hawing and reading down the names. And that would speed us along. And so we're learning something new every time. So thank you so much, Willie.
Thank you. Toastmaster Dennis.
Yes, I think everything went a lot smoother this week. I think we're getting better as we go. Every week it gets better. The only thing I had difficulty was with was the agenda. I printed the agenda before I went to bed last night, and then this morning I noticed there's a lot of changes, so I'll have to remember to print a new agenda before the meeting starts because all the speaker names changed and the order changed.
Thank you. We always do that. Okay, here, this is your third meeting.
Yes, of course. No, as I would say, it just gets better and better. I mean, special commend to Toastmasters Panos. Your energy was very well maintained all 3.5 hours. So you maintained the humor, wit, binding every one of us, commenting, and absolutely attentive listening. I would say it is 100% listening, which is a big compliment. You know, not possible for a human, and you really excelled in that. But as I said, I'm enjoying this space. It is still office time for me, so I am dialing from office. So I have to switch off camera when my boss comes in or someone comes and talks to me. But I am glued in for 3.5 hours. So I'm there. I may not be visible on camera because it's working hour. I'm still in office. But I'm enjoying the experience, and what I enjoy is that we are getting better and better from where we started till where we are now. It is a great improvement.
Thank you. Peter, you are ad hoc member, ad hoc attendee. Ad hoc. So how you find compared to the past meeting?
Compared to the past meeting, I think everybody knows their role very well and stepped in and took over and supported each other very well, like all the other comment earlier. And yeah, every week we are improving on, everybody's improving, learning off each other. So tonight I have one more contribution that is called lighting. If you use good lighting, you should be able to achieve, well, what you would call a Rembrandt look, a superhero look. You have half the face a bit brightened, then a little bit of a cheek here, yeah, to shape the face. That can be also easily achieved using any porch light. Yeah, just put a little diffuser in front, a piece of paper, and yeah, you could get a very interesting light source as well. I think Dennis can easily achieve that, whatever Dennis is using for his lighting. Hello, Dennis.
Alicia.
I have 2 different lights.
Yeah, good. I can tell. Yeah.
Alicia, your feedback. Alicia cannot hear you.
Yes, President. Okay. Every meeting I learn something, and today I learned that technology is very sensitive. I was speaking halfway and suddenly, I don't know what happened. I must have touched the keyboard and I got muted. That made me lose a bit of my momentum when I was evaluating. And because of it, I repeated and I overshot my timing. That's bad. And now my internet's a bit unstable, so you get frozen. And also this causes a bit of losing momentum. But nevertheless, it's frozen.
Yeah.
I see myself being frozen on screen. That's why I stopped for a while. Okay, nevertheless, again frozen.
Never mind.
Okay, nevertheless, Murphy's Law, anything bad will happen. So I learned that for online Toastmaster meeting, we need to always learn to improvise and adapt and think on the feet.
Thank you. Toastmaster error. You have been missed by a lot of people. Give us your feedback tonight. Or he disappeared, or he left the. Let me check. He's still in the meeting.
He's in. Unmute.
He's still sleep. He's
Oh, I
yeah.
thought you were saying Jared.
Your feedback. I know you only enjoy for time to time.
You know, like the old people saying, when I repeat 3 times, I'm not going to repeat it. Good points. I think the good points is that the quality of the club is improving. At least finally, for the first time in my life, with Singapore Online Toastmasters, I get to sleep before 1 a.m. So that is one good point. That is really brilliantly made. This improvements to the old thing. When you're fixing one speech, you know that strength can be weakness, weakness can be strength. It can be to us, it's like we're preparing ourselves to be evaluating a very wonderful persuasive speaking speech. Suddenly, I have to evaluate a CC8. You know that difference of expectation. That's one thing. Two is that it will really mess up the schedule, just like what Dennis was mentioning. If I print out a agenda and then basically I was anticipating a very nice dinner, suddenly the menu change. You know the difference. So that's 2 things that I really want to say repeatedly for the past few times already. But this can be a very devastating downside. If you really want to have a flexible time slot, it's still fine. What I would like to suggest to make an improvement on that is that keep those fixed slots. Maintain the speaker and the evaluator pair up. Like if one of the speaker, like speaker A and evaluator A is still the same, don't move it. If there's a speaker B that's missing, we can shift the speaker B to somewhere else, like at the back. And then keep the speaker C and evaluator C. Don't move too much, otherwise it would just mess up the whole thing. And then finally, well, I would say that the lighting part, I think that could be, this is a role that I do in comparative communicators in the past, but I think after I was too busy, I didn't do it. It's called the body language master. What do you mean by that is that other than we observe your gestures and stuff, we observe your lightings, just like what Peter has been doing. When we focus on lightings itself, it actually focuses on how you can adjust it, which one is a good one. Like we can see Harry with a nice Toastmaster logo in the background, but then that is a good point. But the downside is he blocked half the logo. How do we make it better? So that is some techniques that we can help every single speaker. But you can't shift too much, because if you shift too much, the green screen doesn't work. So there has to be a very carefully planned evaluation on how he can improve from that stage. Finally, I think the the last thing is that I think just in case, if the evaluator is not there, don't worry too much about finding an immediate evaluator. Just like what we did for Angela, I think Angela loves it, is that we can have a round robin evaluation. Instead of just having one evaluator that disappeared, why not have anyone who can remember that speech to give an evaluation? Like a 1 to 2 minutes or maybe 30 seconds each. Still works that way. So those are my evaluation, my critiques, and what I can do to help Singapore Online Toastmaster Club works. Thank you for saving my life so that I can have more 30 minutes of sleep. Back to you, Willie.
Thank you, fellow Toast. Okay. Thank you, everyone who have given them their feedback. I can say one thing. We are getting better, better, and better. There's no way we can be perfect. Early this week, I sent a message to all the members saying that we would like to be like other online clubs to be perfect, but we are still new. We are only 8 meetings new, although we are 3 months already. Officially, we are 8 meetings old. Tonight's meeting was well coordinated by Pano. And he really bring out something I never get to see. He sent a message to all the members to update their speech, their introduction, their speech. And after that, on Thursday, he hand over to me, say that there's still people have no update. So after that, I will take over control. In future, the BBE will have to take over control, but because the BBE is still new to the platform, so I helped him to get used to the platform. Nevertheless, by Friday, we should not be have last minute changes. It's just that because of the table topic, tonight we was held up 10 minutes late because I was trying to fix Angela problem which we did not fix in the last meeting. It was finally fixed remotely. And the table topic session was something new that I never expect to hear since Chinese New Year is next week. This meeting is really marvelous that we could, I have nothing to say. I only I can summarize more. We are getting better, better, and better. We just hope that we have more people attending. Today record was around 18. Last week was the highest, 27. I think week portion was 27. Village workshop was 27. Last week was slightly 20. This week it went down to 16. Never mind. We'll get everyone online. And next week meeting will be on the 23rd of January. That will be on Thursday. So all in all, I enjoyed the meeting and I declare the meeting
January, Thursday.
closed.
Angela, in case the Friday is Chinese New Year Eve. Nobody will turn up for meeting, especially the Chinese. Yeah.
So I declare the meeting closed. And we can talk anything under the book.
Can I